afternoon, children. Welcome to online class session 20. Last session we discussed about emergence of Mussolini, fascism under Mussolini, evolution of German fascism and Nazi state under Hitler. Today we are going to learn about anti-colonial movement in French Indochina, the emergence of Viet Minh, Ho Chi Minh, decolonization in India, lack of measures of industries, India in the days of Great Depression, impact of depression on agriculture, and the Government of India Act 1935. Let us see first the decolonization. Decolonization is the process through which colonial power transferred institutional and legal control over their colonies to the indigenous nationalist government. The French Indochina. Indochina, today we called Cambodia, Laos and Vietnam. These three countries together called as Indochina. It had shown its discontent right from the beginning of French occupation. While the Indochinese resisted the imposition of French language and culture, they learned from them the ideas of revolution. During the First World War, Indochinese fought for the France, and they returned with the first-hand knowledge of how the French had fought and suffered during the war. Communist ideas from mainland China developed the spirit of anti-colonialism. It became convinced that the considerable wealth of Indochina was benefiting only the colonial power. In 1916, there was a major anti-colonial revolt which was crushed brutally. There was also guerrilla activities in Tonkin, the place from where Ho Chi Minh was to arrive. The emergence of Viet Minh. The mainstream political party in Indochina was the Vietnam Nationalist Party. It was composed of wealthy and middle-class sections of the population. In 1929, the Vietnamese soldiers mutinied and there was a failed attempt to assassinate the French Governor General. This was followed by a large-scale peasant revolt led by the communists. The revolt was crushed, followed by what is called White Terror. Thousands of rebels were killed in this incident. So it is called as White Terror. After the White Terror, Ho Chi Minh left for Moscow and spent the 1930s in Moscow and China. When France was defeated by Germany in 1940, Ho Chi Minh and his lieutenants used this turn of events to advance the Vietnamese cause. Crossing over the border into Vietnam in January 1941, they organized the League for Independence of Vietnam, or Viet Minh. So likewise, the Viet Minhs emerged in Indochina. Let us see about Ho Chi Minh. Ho Chi Minh was born in Tonkin. When Ho Chi Minh was 21, he went to Europe. After working as a cook in London hotel, he went to Paris. In the Paris Peace Conference, he lobbied for the independence for Vietnam. His article in newspaper and especially the pamphlet French Colonialism on Trial made him well known as a Vietnam nationalist. In 1921, he became a founder member of French Communist Party. 2 years later, he went to Moscow and learned the revolutionary techniques. In 1925, he founded the Revolutionary Youth Movement. After the Peasant Revolt he led was crushed in 1930 and he went to Moscow again. Inspired by Mao Zedong, he returned to Indochina after the Japanese invaded. It organized the communists and carried on his anti-colonial struggle. He also played an inspirational role leading the war against the USA. So Ho Chi Minh was the important leader who strongly founded the Viet Minh Party in Indochina. Next, we go and see the decolonization in India. The decolonization process started in India from beginning of the 20th century. With the launch of Swadeshi movement in 1905. The outbreak of First World War brought about rapid political as well as economic changes in India. In 1919, the Government of India Act introduced diarchy. So diarchy was introduced in the provinces. They provided for elected provincial assembly as well as for Indian ministers to hold certain portfolio under transferred subject. The Montagu Declaration Act, increasing association of Indians in every branch of administration. The gradual development of self-government in India as an integral part of British Empire. The measure of British government was to buy the political peace needed to expand the tax base. The Indian National Congress rejected diarchy and decided to boycott the legislature. So 1919 Act of India, Government Act of India introduced the diarchy in provinces, and there are two categories in that: transferred and reserved subject. Next we see the lack of measures in industrialized India. Despite the discriminating protection given to certain select industries such as sugar, cement and chemicals, etc., there was no change in the colonial economic policy. Incentives were provided for the British iron and steel industry by guaranteeing purchasing contract. But in case of indigenous industries, support was only in the form of providing technical advice and education and the establishment of pioneer factories in new industries. Even this policy was soon abandoned in India in the days of Great Depression in India. The Great Depression of 1929 had a disastrous impact on British trade and business. Foreign investment declined, particularly in the heavy industry sector like railway building. For the colonial government, the expansion of trade was the only ideal mode of economy. It guaranteed easy access to indirect tax revenue, for example, custom duties and foreign currency. Britain transmitted the effects of depression to its colonies. Bilateral trade treaties between Britain and its member state of British Empire were signed at an economic summit in Ottawa in 1932. The participants agreed to give preference to imperial over non-imperial goods. India was forced to adhere the policy of balancing the budget. The government of British India also raised revenue tariff mainly to gain foreign currency. Britain's need for gold in the crisis year was met from the export of gold from India. By overvaluing Indian currency, the British made imports cheaper. The currency exchange policy fueled tensions between the colonial government and its subjects and intensified the political agitation against the British rule. So during the economic depression period, India economically suffered, Indian industries are decayed, and the British benefited lot. Next, impact of depression on Indian agriculture. The Great Depression dealt a death blow to Indian agriculture and the indigenous manufacturing sector. The value of farm produce declined by half. The land rent to be paid by the peasant remained unchanged. The prices of agricultural commodities, the obligation of the farmers to the state doubled. Farmers and Indian manufacturers therefore had to sell their gold and silver reserve to subsist. The great fall in the prices prompted Indian nationalists to demand protection for the internal economy. The 1930s saw the emergence of Indian National Congress as a militant mass movement. The call given by Congress for civil disobedience movement evoked tremendous response in rural India. Left radicalism was also very much in evidence. So, Indian economy was suffered during the days of depression. Next, the Government of India Act in 1935. The British had to appease the Indian nationalists, and the outcome was the passage of the Government of India Act 1935. This provided for greater power to the local government and the introduction of direct elections. In 1937 elections, the Congress won a resounding victory in most of the provinces. The decision of Britain to involve India in the Second World War without consulting the Indian Congress ministers forced the latter to resign from the office. So without consulting Indian ministers, India was involved in the Second World War. So the ministry was resigned. So these are the important provisions in 1935 Government of India Act. That's all for today's class. Thank you, children.